Welcome, everybody, to One of One. I am George Grayshaw. That is Sam Nelson. Over to my immediate left or right, depending on which way you're looking at it. How the hell are you, Sam? I know a lot of people are going to be really surprised on this little ordeal this afternoon.
Like the voters, when it comes to Major League Baseball's awards, I'm doing great.
Well, we have a breakdown for this episode. We will be going over the 2025 semifinalists for the NFL Hall of Fame inductees.
Hall of Flames.
Hall of Flames. Well, you know,
that's
a whole other show. So far, what has populated for the 2025 MLB Awards for the season, the NBA Cup, as well as we're finally going to wrap up with the New York Jets bombing debacle that is occurring over there off the East Coast. So, without further ado, we are going to jump immediately into the NFL's 2025 Hall of Fame class semifinalists. And Sam, for the first time, we have a kicker. We've got a kicker.
The kicker has a very good resume to be in, too.
Yes, he does. It's about damn time.
No.
We had a punter, but it's our first kicker.
No. There will not be, and nobody will say it's about time until a certain defensive back on that list gets in the damn Hall of Fame. Oh. Eric Allen should have been a Hall of Famer now for 5 freaking years. Every stinking year, he is robbed of it. So until he gets in, I will not say it's about time for anybody.
Well, let's see. The NFL has been played since the late 1800s. So, I mean, you could pretty much say that, you know, it's been a little while since, you know, you've had to add kickers and punters to this, you know? So, I mean, in one aspect, yeah, I see what you're saying about Eric, but as far as special teams has been rarity. I mean, right now, we just last year had Devin Hester make it. So that was another special teamer. Special teams does not get a lot of recognition. And it is nice to see that we finally do. I mean, Lou Groza could have, you know, should have been in this, you know? I mean, there's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Anybody on the list that you're kind of like surprised by?
All right, let's look here. Quarterbacks, Eli Manning, not surprised. Fred Taylor, Ricky Waters, no issue there. Wide receivers, Anquan Bolden, Torrey Holt, Steve Smith Sr., Hines Ward, nothing there. Antonio Gates is a Hall of Famer in my eyes, so.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line. I'm assuming Steve Wisniewski is not the Steve Wisniewski that was on the Eagles just 5-6 years ago. Because there ain't no way he's not even eligible yet.
Yeah.
Defensive backs: Eric Allen, Rodney Harrison, Earl Thomas, Darren Wood. There's not many surprises. There isn't many surprises. I would say the one guy that I feel like has an uphill battle in terms of this, it's probably Vince Wilfork. Not because he wasn't a great nose tackle, but nose tackles don't get a lot of love in the NFL. Because when you're a defensive lineman in the NFL, Georgie, what do they look at? They look at sack numbers. Vince Wilfork did not have sack numbers to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. However, go ask the 13,000 running backs that he tackled how good of a player he really was. So, as I would say, there's no real surprises because I think all these guys do have a case. I do just think that Vince Wilfork is kind of on a uphill battle.
Bruiser's, I get snowed out for the day and don't get an invite. Bruiser, it's well, you're watching, brother. You can comment on there. Sorry. Oh, his snow day. That's funny. That's hilarious. Anybody who you think is going to be automatic first bid first time? Bruiser brings up an argument. Eli Manning is not a Hall of Fame quarterback. Eli Manning beat Tom Brady, won 2 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning only won 1 Super Bowl.
And on those 2 Super Bowl runs, both times went into Lambeau, beat Favre, beat Rodgers, who at both times were the 1 seed in the NFC.
That's why I do not have an issue with Eli being a semifinalist.
I have no issue with him either.
I think Hines Ward is probably going to be an automatic after looking at the list. I mean, I know Torrey Holt and Ward, I think, would be my 2 that I think will get in this year. Hines Ward, I think for sure.
Do you forget who Reggie Wayne is?
Yeah, I definitely know. I definitely know who Reggie Wayne is. I'm just saying, as far as a first time in, like Flynn, I think Hines Ward probably is going to get in.
He probably will.
If I had to say automatic.
See, the thing is with all these wide receivers in terms of careers, none of them are really fully separated from the others. They're all kind of like in the same realm almost, if I could say. Like Reggie probably was the quote unquote number 1 on the Colts for a few years late after Marvin retired. Hines was the number 1 in Pittsburgh, but he was never really like he was the number 1 in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh was Pittsburgh. Like, of course he was the number 1. Steve Smith's one of the better deep threats in NFL history too. If you're not talking about Deshaun Jackson, the next one you're talking about is Steve Smith.
The one who surprised me was Anquan Boldin.
I don't think Anquan Boldin. Now we're talking guys today. We don't think are Hall of Famers. Anquan's on that like really borderline of is he a Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that's the one that surprised me. Bruiser, Eli also has the numbers that back it up as well. Manning beat good and great QBs with average talent. Tom Brady, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers don't have average talent, my friend. Underperforming offense? No. Eli was good for, and that's the big knock, is that Eli doesn't get the same credit that Peyton does, and Eli happened to actually be better. Now, I think one of the big things upcoming is Arch Manning when he gets done playing at Texas, which Bruiser will attest to, is really solid right now.
Yeah.
And I think he could probably be better than both of them. especially if he develops. I mean, you just can't rely on the name alone. And I think that's the one nice thing about Arch Manning after watching him a few times is he's definitely not. It's like, oh, it's just like Jerry Rice's kid, okay, he got drafted this year, but do we see him as one of the rookies of the year for this year? Nope.
You didn't even see him play.
Haven't even seen him play. So it's like, well, hey, just because you got that last name doesn't mean anything. Not a thing at all.
Ask LeBron.
Bruiser, Joe Montana was average talent too. He was a game manager. And because he managed the game right, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Not only that, again, we're acting like Eli Manning was this regular season merchant. Now, let me ask you something, George. And your opinion aside, right? The national audience, right? They will agree. Can we agree that Aaron Rodgers will eventually be a first ballot Hall of Famer because they will put him there?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right. Let take the first ballot out. Aaron Rodgers will probably be a Hall of Famer.
He has the numbers. I mean, you got to remember too, guys who never won any championships like Dan Marino, Hall of Famer. Sometimes it doesn't matter on the Super Bowl. You've got the numbers and you've got the talent.
Yeah.
His Bruiser's opinion saying he's not a Hall of Fame QB.
And there are guys in the Hall of Fame that are lesser than Eli that are Hall of Famers. So
this is true.
When you beat the greatest quarterback of all time in 2 Super Bowls, I'm sorry, Eli's 2 Super Bowls have a little more longevity than his brother's. His brother's last Super Bowl, he was benched halfway through the season for Brock Osweiler. Peyton's second ring, he threw 17 interceptions and 9 touchdowns. And again, Eli beat the greatest quarterback of all time twice.
Right.
That's got to mean something. There are guys with way less accomplishments and guys that will have way less accomplishments that will get in. Okay.
No, because Eli Manning had to do that final drive with that Hail Mary pass off the helmet to Tyreek.
I didn't see Justin Tuck sitting in the pocket throwing the football, Bruiser.
So Eli led that charge for the game winners, and he also did it in the regular season too that year. Because remember that the Patriots were going for the undefeated season, and Eli and the Giants spoiled that too.
If the Giants defense is the ones that won and Eli didn't, why was Eli the MVP of both those games?
Very true.
Like I said, Eli is not everyone's favorite to be a Hall of Famer. That's fine. But there are guys that have accomplished less that are in the Hall of Fame, and there are guys that will accomplish less that will be put in the Hall of Fame.
So if you, I want to ask you, so if you want to pick your four for guaranteed moving on and inducting for the Hall this year, I'll give you 4. Which 4 would you put in right now off this list?
Okay, my 4. Number 1, I'm going to give it to Eli. Even if you think the accolades and the numbers aren't enough, the last name's going to get him in. It's whether I think he should get it because of what he's done on the field, but everyone's going to have their different opinions of Eli. Eli, all right, wide receivers. Whew. I want to say Antonio Gates, but I don't think he'll get in this year. They were have to wait a year or two for Antonio. Even though he is one of the greatest tight ends that ever played, that doesn't get enough recognition for that, by the way.
Wow.
It's just called. I've seen what I've seen.
It's called respect.
Yeah, exactly. Except unless you're a cowboy, then I'm not respecting you at all.
Yeah.
All right, so I have Eli, Eric Allen. Eric Allen should have been a Hall of freaking Famer for about 5 years now, so I'm absolutely giving it to Eric Allen. So that's 2.
Yep.
Number 3, Number 3, I'm going to give it to Adam Vinatieri. People forget how great of a kicker Adam Vinatieri was, and he's got the hardware too. He was on those early Patriots teams that were winning Super Bowl, so he's got the hardware.
Andrew says, if we agree Eli goes in, no doubt, does that mean one day in the future that Stafford will be a no doubt first ballot Hall of Famer? That's a good question, because Stafford, I was going to say, that's kind of the scary thing. Stafford and Goff, ironically, both are boosting their numbers, and they're getting up there. I mean, it's a scary thing to say, but ironically, when they both basically switched teams, they've both gotten better. I mean, yeah. I remember Durkin at the fantasy football drafts. He was saying, and Suds would give him crap for it, but he would keep saying Stafford's going to be, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback. Stafford ran all the way to the Super Bowl after getting traded. Everybody's saying top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, the numbers are not lying right now that both guys actually got better. And if Goff and the Lions get to the Super Bowl this year, hey, there's a big argument right there that, hey, both guys got better when they got traded.
If Jared Goff wins a Super Bowl in Detroit, I don't care when, it could be this year, next year, whatever, that will go down as probably the most even NFL trade of all time. Yeah. I have never seen a trade in any sport go that fairly.
Jerry Gates, James Harrison, Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas is not getting. If Earl Thomas gets in before Eric Allen, I'm riding.
I was going to say, actually, I can see both guys. It would be both.
Do you think Luke Kuechly gets in? But because I feel like because he retired so early because of concussions, it's going to cost him. But like the minute he walked on an NFL field, he was the best middle linebacker in the game.
Yeah. This year, no QB is MVP worthy. It's either Barkley or Henry.
Lamar
for MVPs, yeah, I was so far you'd say Saquon.
The only quarterback that is in that conversation would be Lamar. Maybe Josh Allen. That win against Pat Mahomes may give Josh Allen a bigger chance. But I agree. I think it's either Barkley or Henry.
It gives him an opportunity to be in that discussion. But I agree. There's no quarterbacks right now. There's a couple of rookie quarterbacks that'll get the Rookie of the Year nod, but as far as MVP so far, he's not wrong. Right now, you'd almost say Saquon, hands down. He has been the most valuable player to the team, and it's especially firsthand.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
here's the thing with Saquon Barkley. Like I understand what Derrick Henry brings to the Ravens. It's no disrespect on that, but they had such an established offense and run game before he even showed up there with Dobbins, with Gus Edwards, and then they have Lamar Jackson. Now, you can say the same thing with Philly, but Philly doesn't run Hurts the same way Baltimore runs Jackson. They try to pull Hurts' rushing attempts back earlier in the season. Now, over the past few weeks, it's been going up a little, but the Eagles also have more outside weapons than the Ravens. I don't think there's anybody on the Ravens, wide receiver or tight end wise, that are better, if not equal to the Eagles. So you could say, like, the Eagles have had a great offensive line for years. And you had two solid running backs up to this year. Miles Sanders ran for 1,200 yards 2 years ago on their way to a Super Bowl. DeAndre Swift had a career one season last year rushing for 1,000 yards. But now
It's
what do
the
you do when
system.
you take that? When you take when you take that system and you put a transcendent talent running back there, you have exactly what you've seen over the past couple of months. And that's
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley running for freaking 150 yards like 4 times in his past 7 games.
And that's why, ironically, if I'm gonna go, I'm sorry, did you get to your 4th, dude? I didn't. I know you
I'm
picked
kind of
Vinatieri
struggling
3.
with it. I have a couple guys. Like, I think Eli's going to get in. Vinatieri's going to get in. And if Eric Allen doesn't get in, I'm never talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame ever again. If I had to pick a 4th, I think Luke Kuechly did a lot of good things. I'm just afraid of the fact that he retired so early. That's going to hurt his case for a first ballot. I think in a couple of years down the road, he could get in. I am like really struggling with my 4th. But if I had to pick somebody, I'm probably going to go with Antonio Gates.
Okay. I don't disagree with you that I think Eli is probably going to get in. But if I'm going to go 4, I'm doing Fred Taylor
Okay.
and Ricky, Hines Ward, and Eric Allen. That's where I'm going, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. Allen's been on this list way too many times, and it's like, dude, come on now already. It's like, let's go. You don't want to sit there and wait it out for him to go with the senior class. Give me a break. This is getting stupid.
Eric Allen has 54 career interceptions. In 1993 with the Eagles, he had 6 interceptions. He had 201 yards interception yards. He had 4 pick sixes in that year. His last year leading up to his retirement in Oakland in 2000, he had 6 interceptions, 145 yards after the interceptions, and 3 pick sixes. He has 8 in his career. He literally was one of the best corners in the 90s, and nobody, for some reason, wants to give him the credit for it. I don't understand why Eric Allen is still sitting on this Hall of Fame ballot when he should have been in 5 years ago. It's a joke.
Yeah. Bill brings up a good point. Gates is worthy. Eli shouldn't be, but he beat Brady twice, which we talked about. Too many guys on the list deserve it. Absolutely. And like I said, we know that there's a lot of guys on this list who are the first timers, and we're just kind of minimizing it to ourselves on who we think should, go in for this year.
I don't think any of the wide receivers get in.
Clint says Vinatieri, Manning, Allen, and Gates. I still think it's going to be very hard to pass on Hines Ward. I really, really do. Just because Hines Ward is literally that household name. Recently, too many voters don't remember him playing. Exactly, Andrew. And that's the other thing is you do have a lot that these guys who are doing the vote. It's like they've got to educate themselves and get back to looking at some of these guys, and that's why they've got that what they call the senior votes. But it's just like, you don't want to wait until the guys are almost, in the ground before you turn around and give it to them. It's kind of ridiculous,
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. Bill says Ward changed the game. They made a rule for him. Don't know what you're talking about. Hines would say the same thing. He doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay.
What is this you speak of?
Yeah, right. Let's move into our. I know you were really hot on the cuff about a couple of these. The MLB 2025 season awards so far. I'm going to start with Vaughts here for Cleveland. If the Yankees win the World Series, he doesn't get that award. I can say that flat out. But because
Who are
the
you
Yankees lost, Vogt
Yeah.
got the award. Because I think if the Yankees win, he doesn't get it.
Okay, so well, here's the thing. For manager of the year in the AL, Boone wasn't even a finalist. They only finalized the top three. He wasn't even in the top three.
I apologize. I didn't see the list.
Yes, all
But
right. So I have it right. I have the whole thing right here.
go ahead.
So let's. I have. Let's. I want to start at the top right hand. The first thing I want to talk about is the Cy Young Award. So in the American League, of course, we know Tigers lefty Tarik Skubal won that award, hands down. Seth Lugo finished second with the Royals, and then Emmanuel Clase finished third. They're not going to give the Cy Young to a relief pitcher. It was literally named after a starting pitcher.
Right.
They are not in the modern day going to give it to a guy who threw 74 innings. I get the frustration. Emmanuel Clase, the other thing we have to remember, these awards are regular season based. So whatever happened in the ALCS means diddly, which I disagree with. Because what's the point if, let's just say Tarik Skubal, right? Let's say he was 18-4. He was the best pitcher in baseball. But then in the postseason, 3 outings, ERA's over 7. Now, granted, the Guardians did beat up on him in that final game. But before then, he was lights out. Game 2 against the Guardians? He was really good. Game 1 against Houston, he was really good. I don't understand how the postseason does not matter when it comes to these awards. Because could you imagine if Clase would have won after the postseason he had? There would be backlash all over the place.
That brings up a good point of should they actually have something separate then for the relief pitchers at this point? I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword because remember, Randy Johnson and Clemens both came in and did relief stuff too, in the postseason. So I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on that.
Yeah. Look, the AL Cy Young I have no issue with. I'm very surprised that Seth Lugo finished second behind Skubal. That's something that I'm really surprised at. But again, starting pitcher.
I like what Clint says here. Problem is they wait till the season's over before they announce the winners.
Yeah, so, okay, there's the perfect right there. Then announce it
Postseason.
in the moment the postseason's over. Or
Right.
when the postseason begins. If the postseason doesn't matter, then don't do it after that. Do it when the regular season ends. You have a whole day before the postseason usually begins. Do it then. Like, George, you and I did a playoff preview show on a Sunday.
Yep.
That Monday, announce who wins the awards then, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because can we be real? And this is in most sports. 99% of these awards are popularity contests anyway.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm going to piss off a lot of people in a minute.
You and me both. Something tells me you and me both.
Right.
I do not like the way that the baseball Hall of Fame voting is done. Huh? You have to get to a certain percentage, and it's just, hey, wait a second. You've got guys that's like, oh, well, they were 68%, but you got to get, listen, man, make your voting, make the cutoff, and then you're going to put in 10 to 12 people. This is stupid. This is totally stupid. Soto would win MVP, not judge if we waited till the postseason was over. Yes, you got that right. 100%, Clint. Absolutely right. You are not wrong. You are not wrong at all. But I mean, tell me that the Baseball Hall of Fame voting does not need an update. That totally needs to be updated. That's almost as bad as the coaches poll in college football. Oh, yes, I said it. Yeah, I said it.
Also, so let's just look over to let's look to the National League. The National League, this one was a lot closer than some of them. Chris Sale ended up winning the award. Okay, I guess. Chris Sale was 18-3 this year. He was great. Zach Wheeler finished second. Paul Skeens finished third. So those are the finalists for this. Chris Sale was.
Clint, I love you, man. I love you, man. Oh, that is awesome. That is bravo, Clint. Bravo. Yes. Bravo, Clint. Best comment ever right there. Best comment ever. I love it, Clint. I love it.
We won't vote a guy in after the fact that he was betting on his team back in the 70s, but now that it's legal across sports, now it's okay to do it.
Well, not for the players. Still not for the players.
It don't matter. No. It don't matter because Major League Baseball made how wretched and terrible action that was by Pete Rose. But now that baseball can make money off of it, now it's okay.
Albert Bell should be in the Hall of Fame, but the media never liked him. You ain't wrong about that.
Media. Don't get me wrong. We'll be here for 2 more hours.
Yeah. Well, here's that $1 million question. Now that Pete Rose is gone, do they now put him in after the fact?
Oh, 100% they will. They said it was a lifelong ban. Well, I hate to be that guy, but I'm not going to say it, but
yeah. Oh, come on. No cojones. Hey, now that he's dead and gone, now they're going to put him in. I'll say it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Now that he's dead, they will put him in.
Yeah, Joey Bell. Yes, he was, Bill. He absolutely was.
But so yeah, the NL Cy Young, there's no surprise. Chris Sale wins. Zach Wheeler finishes second. Zach Wheeler, the Major League Baseball will never let a Philly win Cy Young. I'm just confirming that now. Paul Skeens finished third. No, that's fair enough. AL Rookie of the Year, Luis Gil of the Yankees won it. Colton Cowser finished second. Austin Wells of the Yankees finished third. No problem there. Now, here's where I'm going to piss off some people.
Uh-oh.
Paul Skeens wins NL Rookie of the Year, beating out Padres' Jackson Merrill and Brewers' Jackson Chourio. All right, look. I get Paul Skeens, he's flashy. He's throws 100 miles an hour. That's a good question. Why is Kenny Lofton not in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, it is.
Was it because he wasn't slow? I can tell you that much.
Right.
I remember that one lone season that Kenny Lofton played for the Phillies.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
Many moons ago. But so, here's where the popularity contest stuff gets into my head.
All right.
Paul Skeens came onto the scene. He went 11-3. He throws 100 miles an hour, yada, yada, yada. Paul Skeens was not the NL Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Yes. He had flashy. He throws 100. That's cute. What pitcher in baseball doesn't?
Right.
Jackson Merrill shows up to San Diego. And just remind you this. When Jackson Merrill comes to San Diego, he is a rookie playing every day because they have traded Juan Soto. Juan Soto has been traded off this team. They have to find somebody remotely half of what Juan Soto's production was. Jackson Merrill leads all rookies in F WAR at 5.3, hits 162, extra base hits 61, RBIs 90, batting average 292, slugging percentage 500, and he plays a very good center field. That's not the National League Rookie of the Year? Will you lead rookie hitters in almost every statistical category?
Clint's dropping some extra knowledge. Clint always seems to know who the athletes are dating. He's MLB's Travis Kelce.
Oh my God.
Clint's on fire today. He is on fire. Skeens is much better than any rookie. Look at his supporting cast. The Pirates dump talent so fast. Hey, Cleveland dumps talent fast too, dude.
Okay, that's fine. But here's the thing. The Padres traded away what was easily, I think we can all agree, a top 5 player in baseball. Juan Soto is a top 5 player in baseball. You cannot find 5 guys that you would rather have than Juan Soto. Right. And this kid stepped right in and led all rookies in almost every statistical category. And was a huge reason why they were in the postseason. And they were a game away from beating the soon-to-be world champions. But he loses it to a guy who throws 99 miles an hour. Again, Paul Skeens is a great pitcher. He is going to be a great pitcher for a long time, as long as he does not suffer some type of as long as that one injury never happens that I'm not going to bring up because I don't want to jinx the kid, he will be a tremendous pitcher. I said the moment I watched him, Steven Strasburg. That's what I see in him from day one. When Steven Strasburg stepped on a mound in Washington in 2010, that's what Paul Skeens reminds me of. Electric, exciting. And he plays a tenth of the games.
So who's your we know that it's the MVP candidate being voted tonight?
Yes, and well, I also have the manager of the year. Do you want to get to those real quick?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep, that's right.
All right, well, I'll do the NL real quick because I don't have a lot of gripe about this one. NL manager of the year, Pat Murphy of the Brewers won. I have no idea how. Mike Schilt of the Padres finished second. Carlos Mendoza of the Mets finished third. I think you could easily put Murphy third because Mendoza beat Murphy when it mattered. Yeah. And I'm sorry, the Mets were predicted to be one of the worst teams in baseball, and they were in the NLCS. How does Mendoza not win this thing? Meanwhile, the Brewers just refuse to pay star players. They develop one, then they ship them off, then they win 90 games every 5 years, and then they're eliminated in the first round every year.
Well, at least Cleveland makes it a little further. They make it. Exactly. They, as they like to say, they like to tease the Cleveland fans. It's like dragging that carrot out there and just going, "Yep, give it." You almost got it.
You almost had it that time.
You almost got that. Oh, almost. It's like the old man with the little fishing pole.
You gotta be a little quicker next time.
Oh, almost. You almost got it. You almost got it. Look at Skeens' record on one of the worst teams. No offensive support. His speed meant nothing.
And again, yes, I'm not taking that away from him. But of course, he's going to have a good record because he is easily one of the best pitchers in baseball. I said that. However, he played like 26 games. The other guy had to replace Juan Soto, and made up for half of that production. Now, the other half came from other guys. But when you trade away Juan Soto, one guy's not going to replace that. You're going to have to find multiple. But Jackson Merrill was a huge reason of that. And again, Jackson Merrill led the rookies in almost every statistical category you want. Now let's move on to our final one that has been voted on so far, and that's the AL Manager of the Year. A.J. Hinch finished third, Matt Cortrero of the Royals finished second, and Stephen Vogt of the Guardians won the award. And hold on a second. And Bill, I'll tell you this. I said the same thing about a Cy Young Award winner. I said the same. Let's go to the Pitchers Award, the Cy Young. I said the same thing about Emmanuel Clase. They're not going to give it to a guy that only pitched 74 innings.
Yeah. So, like Clint said earlier, vote deserved it. I still think, as far as, I know that they released the list of the finalists or whatever, but it's like, listen, if the Yankees won the damn thing, that he was going to get, he would have been on the list. It's just like, come on.
I don't think he would have.
They're doing this after the fact. Like we said earlier, you're doing it after the fact, after the season, after the postseason. They definitely should be doing it once the regular season's over. Just like in football, it should be done. It's like, why is everybody waiting until the last minute or after the playoffs are over? This is stupid. We could be here for weeks debating that one, Bill.
I think what he's referring is what I'm going to say, and I'm sorry. I think Steven Vogt is a good manager this year. I get a lot of people got mad at him in the ALCS and all. Listen, the Guardians.
First time for everything.
Exactly. But not only that, I think the Guardians, even next year, I know you guys have your opinions over there about the ownership and spending. The Guardians are a very good team. They ran into the Bronx Bombers. Who they've beaten before.
Yeah.
But they ran into the Yankees. I agree with Bill on that. If they're going to do this after the postseason, then they have to count the postseason.
Absolutely.
But I'm sorry. How in the world is A.J. Hinch not the winner of this award after what he did with Detroit? A.J. Hinch has one top 50 Major League Baseball player on his team right now.
And we know that Detroit, as Zolt would even say, Detroit wasn't supposed to be there.
They literally traded away Jack Flaherty because they were selling at the deadline. They were trying to sell. They trade Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers and ultimately picking up their soon-to-be everyday shortstop and Sweeney, who actually was a catalyst of them getting to the postseason. But that's what I'm saying. He's got one top 50 player in baseball, and that's Tarek Skubal. And they put together some crazy Cinderella story that got them to Game 5 of the ALDS against the Guardians.
Yeah.
I don't know how A.J. Hinch doesn't win this award. Because, see, there's a difference between being...
I bet you it was a coin flip. I bet you it had to be a coin flip. If we could only do co-manager of the year.
And Aaron Boone still wouldn't win it. Aaron Boone is... Look, you guys can keep saying if he would have won the World Series or not. Aaron Boone is not a good manager. Aaron Boone does not have to be a good manager. Aaron Boone has two guys that are going to hit 40 home runs and save his ass most of the time. Aaron Boone is not a good manager. What A.J. Hinch did, that's called managing.
All right, so who do we got for tonight?
All right. Here we go. Here are your finalists for the AL MVP. You've got Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals, and then, of course, New York is heavily favored as they have both Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. And for the National League, we've got Ketel Marte of the Diamondbacks, Shohei Ohtani, and Francisco Lindor.
Well, we know Lindor won't get it.
Which he should. He should be heavily considered too, because he was amazing this year.
Yes, he was. But you know that everything has been literally laid out Ohtani this season.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who had to take his break from pitching, which I don't blame him at this point with the stupid pitch clock crap, but that's a whole other topic for another show.
We'll be here for 2 hours doing that.
We'd be here for a while. I believe 100% hands down it's going to be Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
It will be. Everything. I mean, that guy literally, he took Major League Baseball and put it on his back this year and said, I got this. And I mean, the popularity across the globe, I won't just say across the US, but across the globe, has been everybody wanted to see him. And that's why Major League Baseball just almost broke the bank in their revenue this year, was because it was, hey, we need something to hang our hat on. This is definitely it. And it worked to perfection. And Major League Baseball owes him big time.
Agreed.
They owe him big time. So, yes, 100%. I believe Ohtani is going to be it. Clint says, Judge and Ohtani. It's going to be Ohtani overall, hands down.
Well, Aaron Judge has been on the Yankees for, 8 years now? No World Series. Juan Soto shows up, World Series.
Interesting, ain't it? Yeah, I'd have put Soto over on the AL side of things.
I mean, if you look at Juan Soto's numbers, I get Judge hits 50 home runs. I get all that. Juan Soto hit 288. Juan Soto
what do you
hit
do
288.
defensively? What do you do defensively? You know?
I don't even got to get to that point. I don't even have to get to that point. Soto hit 288, 41 homers, 109 RBIs. Here's where the kicker is for me. He struck out 119 times. He walked 127. How many baseball players walk more than they strike out? They needed somebody in front of Aaron Judge in that lineup that scared you, and he's been nothing but that and more. He changed the entire part of that lineup.
Yeah. 100%.
That's my MVP. It's not Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is a great player, but come on.
Clint even says, yep. I agree. No, I don't think so. Bring him.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Brian, don't tease me like that. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. My buddy, don't tease me, man. That's not right. $750 million.
I've heard he's gonna get north of 7. It's going to happen.
As I say, I didn't see anything yet. Brian. Look at Brian's messing. Brian, quit messing with me, man. That's Albert Pujols numbers. It's like, geez, oh Pete. It's like, don't make me look up stuff in the middle of a show, man. I think he must have done it to rile you up because he knows how much you hate the Mets.
That's fine.
I was going to say, if anything, we got to find out that the Mets signed Alonso first, and how much that was going to.
Pete, here's the thing: there's differences between being a great player. Yeah, Clint, and he's having a meeting, and he met with the Red Sox, and he's having a meeting and he's meeting with the Phillies tomorrow. Exactly.
First of all, he's saving the best for last because we know he wants to play with his boys. Come on.
Juan Soto's a great player, but how has a 27-year-old been on 3 Major League Baseball teams in 4 or 5 years? Juan Soto wants his money. If the Mets were to give him $750 million, which, by the way, the Mets have Sean Manaea, who's a free agent, Luis Severino, who's a free agent. If the Mets give him $750 million, let Pete Alonso walk, so now you have no first baseman and have no starting pitching. Whoop-de-doo. You'll probably finish worse than you did this year. The Mets do not need Juan Soto.
No. And I think Soto at this point has gotten all of his money. And that's why I think when you just mentioned that he's going to visit the Phillies here last, that's because that's where his boys are. That's where Trey's at. That's where Bryce is at. He's not stupid.
Kevin Long.
It's like, it's like, hey, he wants to go have a good time with his buddies who he's known for years. it's kind of like, hey, this is where I would like to sit down for about 4 or 5 years and hang out and try to get another shot at getting a World Series.
And
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
think,
there are two teams here that I don't. Actually, no, there are three teams. There are three teams. Brian, your big bat is at first base. That's
yeah,
him. You don't need to go break the bank for Juan Soto. Because I'm sorry, with Pete Alonso leaving, the Mets don't get. If Pete Alonso was on the Mets this year, they don't get that near where they were.
no,
Lindor was great. Don't get me wrong. Pete Alonso is the heart and soul of that team. Pete Alonso, that's the thing. You want to bring out that $750 million contract? You could literally sign Pete Alonso, 2 or 3 starters, and the Mets also need some relief pitching too. You could all sign that for about $20 million less than what Juan Soto is. Juan Soto is a good player. I'm not saying it's because it's the Mets. I don't think the Phillies desperately need him either.
no. Like I said, he wants to probably go to the Phillies because that's where his buddies are. It's like
Yes,
you're
but
just
also
taking some of the Nationals dudes, and it's just like, putting them through a little machine and just putting them into Phillies jerseys.
yeah, and I for one don't think that. Like I said, I liked what I don't think the Phillies necessarily will have a bad offseason if they don't get Juan Soto. I don't think any of these teams, if you miss out on Juan Soto, like I'm sorry, it's a good example. The Phillies were supposed to win the World Series, and when Bryce Harper signed, right? Well, funny, the Nationals won the World Series the next year. Just because you lose just because you miss out on the big fish doesn't mean your offseason's terrible. The Phillies, the first name that they were linked to in the offseason wasn't even him. It was Alex Bregman. Well, I'm actually kind of intrigued by it.
Yeah, well, like I said, right now everything
This,
is a rumor. It's nobody's no Clint. He's already got the Brinks truck sitting in his backyard.
just
Right
wait to
now,
see
you
what
can't
he's
believe
opening it.
anything.
Nope.
Everything is smoke and mirrors right now, just like it is early in the year for football. It's all
When the
smoke and mirrors. Winter meetings are coming up. We know we've got a hitting home episode popping in December that
yeah,
we'll be doing.
I got that on lock.
Yep, I'll be a guest with Sam on that.
Oh yeah,
and we'll be discussing the winter meetings and the results of how any of the movements, because nobody's going to say anything until they get to those meetings. And don't be surprised if they have a few signings by then. The Nationals trade, he turned down $450 million. Yeah. Well, MLB free agency is, they need to take a break because baseball's so long of a season to begin with. It's like you need to turn around and take your time. Nobody wants to do anything. Half of these guys right now are down south playing golf. They don't want to even think about a baseball. They just want to see a golf ball. That's all they want right now. They want to see a golf ball. They want to turn around and hang out with the family, sitting poolside. They just want to relax. That's why it takes so long. They are on their well-deserved break. They don't want to think about anything. In fact, they don't even want to think about anything until after Christmas. That's when they usually want to make any moves. It's after Christmas. They don't want to think about anything. Unless they're looking for that big contract before Christmas, and that's the Christmas present they get.
Yeah, right. And the winter meet, honestly, the last couple of years, the winter meetings have been the start point, but it usually takes off afterwards. So, like the winter meetings, when we do that show, it's going to be fun. But I don't think Juan Soto signs the winter meetings. I could be wrong, but I think he signs after.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I got for Major League Baseball's awards. I got the awards down there, and then I'm excited for the winter meetings because that's going to be a nice recap.
Yeah, we'll pop into that in December for sure. Okay. Next up on our tally is this. Now it has a sponsor, ironically, the Emirates NBA Cup. How excited are you about this is about as exciting as the freaking Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Who cares?
You're playing something during regular season games. Okay, I get you're trying. I mean, if it was kind of like something leading into an all-star break or something, fine. But it's like these guys, this is like the last thing on their minds is about winning this little trophy. And oh, well, we're into the cup chase now. And they're just like, well, I'm sorry. Take the Cavs, for example. They're now before last night. I've just got from last night's info 15-1. So their whole main thing that they had going on was an open streak for the season, which proved to be more entertaining than what the heck this is going to be about. I mean, you've got your little groups, and it's like, okay, so what exactly is the point behind this? The NBA says, oh, it's, we're going to turn around and give a team another opportunity to win a championship. Really? If you're a player, are you that excited to turn around and win a championship that doesn't mean anything? Did you see apparently they're going to do an 8-man tournament for the All-Star game? Oh, no.
This is like college.
Oh, my gosh. And I'm like, Clint, who cares? Yeah, it's, hey, we've got to cover the stupid no matter what.
People continue to rip Major League Baseball for being unwatchable. I think basketball is approaching worse numbers than baseball. I think baseball is more watchable than basketball.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're almost neck and neck. They also get $500,000 each if they win the cup. Oh, so all right, maybe
so it's a little bit. Grab.
So yeah, and now that they've got a healthy sponsor, okay, but I mean, still, are you really that intrigued that you could go through your career and win 3 or 4 of these, but never win an NBA championship?
Is this going to be on? This is going to be LeBron's resume. He's won 4 NBA championships. He's won 3 NBA cups, unlike MJ. It's going to be the. Oh my God, I hate this so much. This is literally something they're trying to act like college basketball does with in-season tournament plays. No, it's not the same. College, there's 500 teams. There are made-up schools in there. There are 10 areas. There's listen, I've never heard of one guy come out of the Citadel and become an NBA All-Star. So let me tell you that right now. The only time the Citadel was popular is when it was an NBA 2K, okay? So look, but nobody cares about the NBA Cup. I don't even watch the game. The only thing cool about the NBA Cup is the court design. Yeah. Because some of them are sick. Like the Sixers is pretty cool. Now, I've probably watched 1/4 of Sixers basketball this year, but the NBA Cup is stupid, and this whole tournament at the All-Star game, well, they have to figure something out because NBA All-Star weekend stinks.
What sport has the Carpenter Cup?
Oh. I don't even know.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah, this is to draw interest. It's like, dude, if you're not going to draw interest for the regular season, why would you need to have some weird championship run piece that you have to? I mean, you can't even make it as a playoff. It's just a matter of how many games you're winning because your regular season schedule dictates what you're doing and who you're playing. So it's just based off of your victory. So it's not like you can even go head to head to play against the team in the final. It's ridiculous.
Can I have a moment? Can I have a solo moment real quick? Let me speak to the people. I'm going to speak real quick. Adam Silver. You have been the NBA commissioner since you took over for David Stern. Ever since you took over, the league has gotten worse. There's no more physicality in the game. There is no more. It's just a bunch of guys that are shooting threes. Victor Wembanyama is 7 foot, 12,000 inches tall, and the dude is shooting threes when he should easily be posting up every time he's on the freaking court. You have taken the physicality out of the game. You have changed the rules that have made the game worse. We don't care about the NBA Cup, because that's not going to draw fans. But what I'm getting sick and tired of is paying hundreds of dollars to go watch Kawhi Leonard. Oh, but I find out 2 hours before tip-off, he's not playing because of injury management from an injury he suffered. I heard he sprained his pinky when he was in middle school, so he has to still load manage that. That's what we want you to fix. I don't care about in-season tournaments. I don't care about rule changes. I care about the fact that these guys play the least physical sport in the world. Do not tell me I'm lying. They play the least physical sport in the world. They don't get hit like hockey players. They don't get hit like football players. They don't play the longevity of baseball players. They run up and down a court, and you can criticize me all you want. I play basketball. And these guys need to load manage? Hell, we got somebody that's load managing now. I won't mention any names, before the season started. From an injury he suffered last December. After he came back from said injury to play in the playoffs. Then he played in the Olympics. But then come opening night, he's not ready. So if you want to fix your product, make these guys play. Because that's what we want to see. I don't care about a nice court design for an NBA Cup that means nothing. I want to see superstars play. I want some physicality back in the game. I don't need Dennis Rodman and Ron Artest beating the crap out of fans like Mouse at the Palace. I don't need that. But I just need a little bit of physicality. And I need guys playing.
Meanwhile, PG-13 came back early and got hurt again.
Oh, cry me a river with him. I ain't talking about the Sixers. I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
All right. Nope, we're going to pop into our favorite and final subject. The New York Jets
dumpster fire
bombing off horribly. Now that, hey, Sala was the problem. All right, fine. Drop that bomb. Well, Douglas problem. Well,
where's the backdrop for this one?
You just dropped that bomb. Well, there's only one bomb left to drop. It's like Woody looks like he's going to turn around and be doing a reboot once the Rogers bomb gets dropped. And then that's it, folks, because you got a 40-year-old quarterback that you are not going to turn around and pay any more money to, especially after he had his injury-ridden year last year. It's like, we're not going to bother. Right now, boy, did they hose this. This is, and you know what? I know Sala's sitting at home going, yeah, y'all thought it was me, huh? What, they're 1-5, 1-6 since letting him go? And they got lucky with the one anyway? Come on, guys. Give me a break. It wasn't Sala's at all. It wasn't his fault at all. This is all Aaron Rodgers. This is all Aaron Rodgers all the way.
Yeah.
And all it did was screwed up this organization thought that the Browns were screwed up. These guys are screwed up even longer.
I have no words for that.
Yeah, I saw the article, that tongue in cheek is Woody said he wanted to bench Rodgers. And it's like, well, yeah, guess what? Looks like it's all an epic crapshoot right now. The Adams will see if they cover. He only joined him if they got to play next year with him. You're playing with him now, and he stinks. What's the point? You're not going to be able to look. Lazard was the only one who was beneficial with Rodgers this season. And then, unfortunately, Lazard's back on IR. Adams comes in. It should have been pick up and go. Nope. They can't figure it out. I mean, I watched routes being run wrong and everything in that game over the past couple of weeks, and it's just like, dude is just off. And it's like, okay, who's off? Is it Rodgers off or Adams that's off? Right now, they both look off. They're horrible. They're both horrible. Rodgers counting. But Rodgers still not the problem. I never dislike a person so much. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is why you don't let the quarterbacks dictate your team. Your coach, it's the coach's formula. It's the coach's system. You find the players. It's like, you want to make the splash, that's fine. But if the player doesn't fit your system, all you're going to end up with is right here. Bunch of bombs being dropped and the echoing silence in stadiums is literally not what you want.
Well, the Jets, they're just the Jets at this point. It's funny. Like we said, the first bomb was you got rid of Robert Saleh. Well, the defense has been worse ever since he showed up, since he left.
Mm-hmm.
You traded Mike Williams. Mike Williams caught a touchdown catch to win the Steelers a game against the Commanders. I don't know if Devontae Adams has caught a touchdown with the Jets yet.
Nope, I haven't seen
Now, you fire the guy who drafted Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, all these other Garrett Wilson, who, by the way, what I've been hearing, it sounds like a reunion in Philly will happen for Joe Douglas. It sounds like he may come back here for a role. Not sure what that role will be. He's not taking Howie's job, but it sounds like he may. He needs to go back to what a well-run organization is.
Clint says Adams has had one. He's got him in fantasy.
Wow.
Sorry,
was that week one with the Raiders?
Ouch.
But since Woody Johnson's on a tirade, have you heard?
I mean, he should be, but then again, it's also his own fault, right?
It's no fault. He went after a 40-year-old quarterback that is been labeled as one of the biggest divas ever. Like, just think of this real quick. Joe Douglas drafted Garrett Wilson. Joe Douglas drafted Sauce Gardner. He drafted Breece Hall. He drafted Will McDonald. He drafted Braylon Allen. He drafted Jermaine Johnson. And he drafted Michael Carter II.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He's always been great when it comes to analyzing talent. So, now granted, and they're trying to like make up for it as like, oh, he's in the final year of his contract.
Bill,
and they weren't going
to. You're killing me, Bill. You're killing me, Bill. Oh, that was funny.
But it does sound like the Jets are in full teardown mode. And from what it sounds like, that 40-year-old man may be next.
Oh, 100%. You're not going to pay him. You're letting him go. And unfortunately, you're looking at another quarterback. You need a quarterback.
It can't happen because of the money, right? This won't happen because of strictly money. But somebody did bring up about Aaron Rodgers saying it would be, and I want to apologize to you, Clint, not Adam. Adam would deserve this. This would be the most Browns thing ever to get involved with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So,
no.
If that ever happened, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry to Clint. But if it happens for Adam, then he deserves it.
No, Cleveland can't even turn around and Cleveland can't even afford to turn around and get a nickel or a dime.
No, it's because I forget. I think I was watching The Herd with Colin Cowherd because he's like the only guy I can fathom to listen to sometimes. But they were talking about like the teams that would be involved possibly to look at Aaron Rodgers. Somebody brought the Browns up because Watson probably won't play another. Watson probably won't play another down for Cleveland. Healthy
Oh
or
no,
not.
they're tied to him for the next 2 years. And Bruiser was adamant about trying to cut guys
I don't
left and
disagree
right
with Bruiser
and
though. I know you were making
trying to
look.
get. But you cannot bankrupt your team.
They're not going to bankrupt the team. The Eagles did the same thing.
Yeah,
They gave
well,
Carson Wentz all that money. They had
but
to
it
eat it
wasn't. Well, yeah,
for
but you're
that
not.
year.
But you can't. But you cannot turn around and eat 100 mil. You can't eat 100 mil in one sitting. That's the dead cap hit. Zolt brought sanity back and said you're just not able. You're not able to do it.
Not with the amount of money already in the team.
No,
because you have Myles Garrett, because you have Denzel Ward and that money. The only way, if you were to do that, you would have to literally like the 10-72 Sixers, where everyone's only making like $200,000 per game. Like, but the problem is to do that, you have to trade away guys like Jerry Jeudy, who you just gave him the contract. There's more dead money. Myles Garrett, there's more dead money. Oh, wait. By the way, did I hear one of you say that Myles Garrett would not net the Browns a first-round pick?
Yep.
Did we miss the same games on Sunday? Myles Garrett's one of the best defensive players in football. He is, without a doubt, get you a first-round pick.
Cleveland wants a top first-round pick. They want one or two. They want one or two.
Can we agree with something when it comes to first-round picks? You could pick 1 or 32nd. It won't matter if you can't evaluate talent.
True.
Howie Roseman, you sat on that draft show with us that whole night, and he just watched the board fall and fall and fall, and Quinyon Mitchell was on his lap. Me and Tyler talked about that week. We think Cooper DeJean's going to be the first-round pick. He got Cooper DeJean in round 2. Cooper DeJean's one of the best young corners in football. He's only played about 9-10 games. It don't matter where you pick. It's who can evaluate that talent better. So if someone said, oh, we'll give you number 32 for Myles Garrett, and Cleveland said no, now I'm sure there will be more involved than just the 32nd pick. I think we can agree there. There will be more involved with it. But you're telling me that you wouldn't take that as a starting point? You're out of your mind. No, you're just absolutely out of your mind.
Yeah, like it was one of those things of, because we know how Cleveland is, and it's just the Cleveland thing to do, that's what would happen. Because the ownership's just that greedy.
Yeah.
You know?
No arguments there. But the Jets are a dumpster fire still, and Woody Johnson's he's entering Jerry Jones levels of ownership, but
yeah, the very true, Clint. They had one for a little while, but he moved on. Just ask the signals about number 1 picks. Fighting talents. Oh, he's so big. Okay. What?
Who are these Sixers you speak of? I don't know these men.
Oh my gosh. Well, we hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. Appreciate you tuning in on the first one. Hopefully, definitely should not be one of the last ones.
I guarantee you this will come back.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this. This was a really cool thing to do, especially smack dab in the middle of the day, no less. It was really, really a lot of fun to do. Picked up the 4 topics, and next time we'll have another set of slew of 4. You might as well keep it pretty even themed and going with that.
Yeah.
Until next time, check out 609 Sports Talk on Mondays at 5:30. Check out Dueling Aces with me at 9 p.m., also on Mondays. Anything else, Sam?
Yeah. I want the Sixers sent to Shanghai.
Grief.
You know what? What's that movie with there's the freaking basketball, the Tropics? I want them put in the Wells Fargo Center. I want Will Ferrell playing point guard.
Oh, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you on the flip side.